the ocean floor. I have a feeling that there's so much more. Is this life or thoughts revolving? Somewhere out there deep in outer space, could there be another human face? Is there life or thoughts evolving? Who's to say what we cannot see? Am I you? Are you really me? Are we believing or just perceiving?
Hello there and welcome to Season 2, Episode 11 of Weave Your Web Revived. I am your host, Celebrity Psychic Tor James Faulkner. How are you? What have you been up to since the last episode? Let me know. I really do enjoy hearing from you all. I don't just say that to be polite. I do genuinely enjoy hearing from you, hearing what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the show, hearing what you've been up to, hearing your thoughts on the bits and pieces. And what I'd really like to get from you is, of course, number one, you can get free readings on the show. So if you send your question in to be answered on the show, make sure that it's nothing too urgent. I always have to say that. Make sure that it's nothing too urgent because there's no set schedule for the show. But you can get a free psychic reading here on the show. But also, I'd really love to hear your personal paranormal stories, glitch in the matrix stories, or if you still want to send in psychic scam stories, like your personal experience of a psychic scam, I'm still interested in hearing all of that too. And to do that, the best way to do that is if you look around wherever you're listening to the show, there should be a button or a box or a link to contact the show directly. Or you can go to the website torjamesfaulkner.com. You'll see a button that says contact and just fill in the contact form, and all of that comes directly to me. Anyway, welcome on in. I've had a bit of a funny couple of weeks. You know when you sort of think, oh goodness me, I haven't done anything for ages, but then when you sit at the end of the day or the end of the week and you go, goodness me, how did I fit all that in? And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about doing certain things that feels like I'm doing nothing. And then in actuality, I'm doing a lot. I'm actually doing a lot. But one of the things that I have been doing is I've been doing a lot of clearing out. I don't know if you're like me, where if you get like a techie thing or, a nice piece of equipment, or even just something nice that comes in a box, I tend to hold on to the box for far too long. So I had a whole shelf full of empty boxes from things like game controllers, headphones, earbuds, stuff like that, because I always sort of think, well, if it needs to be sent back or it needs to be repaired, then it's better to hold on to the box. But there comes a certain point, I think, where that should have been gone, recycled a long time ago. So yeah, it's been really, really good to do stuff like that, get stuff cleared out, cleaned. I've been clearing like my workspace and my space where I do the healings and stuff like that, getting it all cleared out. It's been really, really good. It feels really, really good. And this is a really good thing to do for manifestation too, which is the point in me boring you with telling you that I've been clearing my space. There is a point. By clearing out physical clutter, physical rubbish, and things that no longer serve a purpose, we are allowing the energy, the new energy, to flow better. So it's a little bit like, you'll be sick of me going on about the happiness bank, and you can hear that, I think, in a couple of episodes if you scroll back. But it's a little bit like a physical version of the happiness bank, because we're throwing out stuff that no longer serves, but holding on to things that we want, that does serve a purpose. So, we're holding on to the actual bits of equipment and not the cardboard that it came in. And so we're saying to the universe, yep, these headphones, these, whatever it is, makes me really, really happy. This is something that I can use. This is something that I enjoy. And the universe is going, okay. And I always have to point this out too. Things like this work both ways. If you're holding on to rubbish, whether that's emotional rubbish, physical rubbish, rubbish friends, anything like that, the universe is going to go, they want more rubbish. So yeah, it kind of works both ways. So, like I say, clearing out physical clutter, physical stuff that no longer serves, is really, really good for manifesting. Let's get into this episode's psychic news story. And I haven't read this, but I saw the headline, and I'm really, really excited about it. And I can't remember, and I do apologise if she hears this. I can't remember this lady's name off the top of my head, but I have seen her on different bits and pieces in the UK media. She is, quite famous in the UK for being a psychic, and she's quite unique in that she uses asparagus, and I think also other vegetables too. But she uses asparagus as her reading tool, and I always find that really interesting because, I'm very big on psychic tools. Some of you may know that I have a certificate in divination mastery for being able to use lots and lots of different psychic tools. And I think a lot of people don't realise that you can use pretty much anything, so long as it makes sense to you. It really doesn't matter what it is. So I always find this lady fascinating. Anyway, this particular story about this particular psychic is from the Daily Star, and the headline reads, "Asparagus Psychic makes key 2024 predictions, next president, war fears," that doesn't sound good, "and football pain." I'm not 100% sure when this article is from. Oh, it's from the day of recording. So I'm recording this on the 23rd of July, and this story has just gone out. It's a lovely picture of, they're calling her Mystic Veg. So there's a lovely picture of Mystic Veg here, holding up her asparagus. And the article reads, "Michelle Obama will sensationally snatch the US election from Donald Trump. The world's only asparagus fortune teller has exclusively revealed to the Daily Star. Jemima Packington, I hope I'm saying that correctly, nicknamed Mystic Veg by her pals, conjures her prophecies by flinging spears on the floor to see what shapes they make." Very, very interesting. And I've actually seen Jemima do this on television, and it's really fascinating to watch too. The so-called asparamancer, love that, says her green crop has clearly shown neither Donald Trump or Kamala Harris will take the White House helm in November. That's super interesting. Jemima said, "It's a lady beginning with M. Michelle Obama. She's going to be the one that gets the presidential nomination. Trump doesn't stand a chance. The orange man baby," Daily Star's words, not mine, "is heading for a damning downfall according to the psychic. She said, his reading is really, really messy. I see lots of infighting and one spear which is going off on the left-hand side. That shows Trump out of the picture. The mystic who lives in Bath has been using asparagus since she was a child to peer into the future." That's really interesting. That's really interesting to know to do that from being a small person, a child. That's absolutely fascinating. I would love to hear more about that, actually. Her parents fell deathly silent when she made her first prediction after dropping a handful of spears as a young girl sitting around the dinner table. Jemima predicted Brexit and the Queen's death, and last week said it would be a woman who would win the US election, days before bumbling Joe Biden even stepped down. Asked by the Daily Star if aliens exist and when we will meet them, her tossed veg fell into a wheat sheaf shape. I don't know that word. Wheat sheaf shape, which relates to crop circles. I hope I'm saying that word correctly. I've never seen that word before in my life. She said, judging by this, they do exist. They have been here and they know a thing or two. They just want to keep us on our toes. And there's another lovely picture there of Jemima with her asparagus. If what I see is correct, we are already communicating with them. You don't need little green men on Mars. They are here now. The plant fan also had some reassuring news about Putin. She said, we're not going to war. There's no need for any stocking up or bunkers, as we're not going to take any more of this rubbish. I see 2 spears off the scale. This tells me there are 2 countries running side by side who don't like the rest of us. Russia is one of them, and Belarus is the other. What's happening at the moment won't escalate, but the people who are responsible will become more isolated. We have got problems, but we are going to all stick together. Well, I'm glad that we're all going to stick together. In sport, the fortune teller insists the Lionesses are set for splendour again, but triumph will elude the England men's team until at least 2030. That's a shame. After our loss at the Euros final earlier this month. And it's not looking good for Team Great Britain when the Olympics begin on Friday. Are the Olympics that close? They'll have already started by the time the episode goes out. I didn't realise the Olympics were that close. The mystic added, there will be heartbreak. There is one spear which is covering the rest, which is preventing success moving forward. Jemima also eats the asparagus she uses and never suffers from the smelly wee. And never suffers from the smelly wee some people get after gobbling the sulphur-rich sticks. She said, I'm blessed on so many levels with asparagus. That is not how I expected that article to end, but that's lovely. I really find Jemima absolutely fascinating. Just the way that she reads, that, you know, using asparagus to read is just, I don't know, I absolutely love it. If you've got a chance, type her into YouTube. She's definitely been on UK TV on programs like This Morning. I know that she's been involved in some reality TV stuff as well. So if you've got some time, put her name into YouTube and have a little look. Probably if you put asparagus psychic, you're going to get the best results. Now, as part of Weave Your Web, I do like to give tips and tricks on how to weave your own web, and part of that includes how to read and how to read for yourself. And what I'm going to read next touches on that a little bit. I'm going to read to you an article that I wrote, I believe it was 2016, so a little bit of time ago already. And I originally wrote this article for aranum.com, so that they published it. You can find it, you can Google it. They published it while I was working there a lot more regularly. Big shout out to aranum.com. And the article is called Art of Scrying, an Enthralling Experience, written by Aranum expert TJ Psychic, which was what my profile there was called. What is scrying? Scrying is documented as far back as 3000 BC. It is heavily referenced in mythology and folklore, and is said to be the art of gazing into a shiny object, usually a crystal ball or a mirror, to psychically perceive messages, pictures and symbols that can be translated as guidance, either for the reader or for someone else. And if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that my favourite thing to scry with is actually a glitter ball, or a snow globe. Glitter globe, I should say, or a snow globe, because not only do you have the reflective surface and the water in those, there's also some elements there with the glitter or the snow, which indicates patterns and symbols and stuff. Other methods of scrying include looking into the flames of a fire or candle, using the reflection of water, pouring coloured substances into water, or even staring at the steam coming from a pot or a kettle. How does it work? The psychic or seer stares at their object of choice with their physical eyes, and they will have visions that trigger clairvoyance, either physically within the object or more commonly within their third eye. Often a seer will be shown things only on a symbolic level. For example, they may be shown a bicycle, and this would indicate movement or travelling. Seeing a spider's web could refer to something woven within destiny. Most seers know intuitively what the symbology is referring to. Oftentimes, a seer will be shown things as if they were watching a film. This could be a specific event from the past or the future, and they will be able to describe the event in detail. The sensation is close to having a lucid dream. A psychic's other abilities may well be triggered while scrying too, such as clairaudience or clairsentience, giving the seer a multi-dimensional experience of what they are seeing. What are the benefits of scrying within a reading? Scrying is a very pure form of divination. It is a direct line to psychic information, and therefore, a seer will usually get a lot of information very quickly with this method of providing readings. And then at this point, there's a lovely little picture of me there looking very, very smug. I think I often look smug though, don't I? So that's no surprise. I'm not smug though, I promise you. I'm not actually smug, it's just my face. I have resting smug face. There is a real sense of mysticism when conducting a reading with someone who does scrying, which in itself can be a really enthralling experience. The steady flow of information allows you to ask more questions within your time. Exploring the symbology may well trigger a special meaning or life lesson for you. And I still agree with that actually. And I often do still keep, a glitter globe or a crystal ball or something to hand, so that if somebody does have a lot of questions within a short period of time, it's a little bit quicker for, the senses to be triggered, for the information to come through. Because often, if you're using cards or something, cards are fantastic. I'm a huge card person, as you all know. But sometimes if somebody's got a lot of questions, there's not always enough cards. There's not always enough cards. And if there's a dramatic subject changed, I personally like to put all the cards back together and shuffle them. And that takes up a good few seconds that could be used, in my case, looking into the glitter globe. And for those of you who don't know, I often do readings via chat. So time is very much of the essence, but that's another conversation. The article continues. It's also very entertaining to watch someone divine in this way. While it's an ancient practice, it's not a skill that is widely used in our modern world. I think that's changed a little bit since then. I think there are a lot more people now who are publicly scrying in different ways than there was, this would have been almost 8 years ago. So I think that's changed a little bit. This can truly make for a unique reading. Can anyone learn to scry? If you consider that we all possess the same level of intuition, though not everyone develops this into a psychic talent, then yes, anyone can learn to scry. And I do believe that. I believe that everybody has a level of intuition. I believe that we're all a little bit psychic. And funnily enough, I was watching Inbal, friend of the show Inbal. Hi, sweetheart. Her new show started today, a couple of hours before recording this. And she basically said the same thing, that she believes anyone can read something, that everyone is a little bit psychic too. So yeah, I really, really agree with that. And I'm glad that, other very public psychics do too. A good way to start is to use a crystal ball or a clear quartz crystal. Sit in a comfortable and relaxed position. You may want to play some relaxing music or do the scrying during or following a meditation session. Let loose. Relax your eyes. This is really important. And gaze into the crystal. Write down everything you see. It doesn't matter if there are... Let me try that again. Write down everything you see. It doesn't matter if these are predictions or seemingly random things being shown to you. This... Okay, let me try that again. Just jumping ahead. Let's try it again. Write down everything you see. It doesn't matter if these are predictions or seemingly random things being shown to you. You can develop the precognitive aspect in time. And I think that this is a really important step when learning scrying, but not only scrying, when learning any kind of divination, reading style, developing any psychic ability. Those very first steps, documenting in some way of what you're seeing and experiencing, is really important, because that's how you learn what makes sense to you. Because every single person is different, so every person who does psychic readings is going to be a little different, and things are going to, what makes sense to me is not necessarily going to make sense to you. As I was saying earlier in this article, the bicycle for me means movement or travelling. It might not mean that for you. It might mean, I don't know, something to do with the brakes, or the wheels forever spinning. There's many meanings that a bicycle can mean. So document it to figure out what the bits and pieces mean for you. It's very important not to force visions. If nothing is shown to you, don't worry. It may take a few attempts until you are shown anything of importance to you. Don't get frustrated. And don't make the mistake of desperately squinting your eyes in an effort of trying to see something. Practice makes perfect, and once you're more confident in your talent as a seer, you can test your skill by answering questions for others. This should give you some insight into how a seer works, as well as giving you a starting point if you too wish to become a seer. Enjoy your scrying practice. Let me know if you try out scrying. Let me know what you see. And maybe, instead of using the cards, maybe I'll do some scrying on the show. After the break, we're going to have our glitch in the matrix for this episode and some free readings. See you after the break.
It's a great big universe. We can't be who came here first. Step outside of your mind. It's so very deep down there. We walk around without a care. Step outside of your time. Was it all an illusion? Dressed up in confusion. Step aside. Step outside.
Welcome back to Weave Your Web Revived. How are you? I'll be very, very honest. I was desperately thirsty. I was desperately thirsty towards the end of the first half of the show. And I was guzzling as many drinks as I could in that little musical interlude. Our glitch in the Matrix story for this episode is called Disappearing Coca-Cola. It's a very foodie episode. Very foodie episode this time. And it reads, okay, I've been on the fence about sharing this because I'm still kind of new to this whole concept, but this story is why I joined this subreddit. This Glitch in the Matrix story is from the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit. When I was away at college one night, I had Chinese food and half a bottle of cola. I put the other half in my mini fridge in my bedroom. The next night, my two roommates and I went grocery shopping, and I came back with a brand new bottle. I then went to my bedroom and put the new bottle away, taking out my leftovers and the half a bottle of Coke from the mini fridge, I'm assuming. As I heat up my food in the kitchen, I went back to my room to put more things away, and when I returned to the dining room, the half bottle of Coke was gone. I thought maybe I got confused and put it away, so I checked my fridge, and it was just the brand new full bottle. My roommates were in the kitchen when I had brought my leftovers through, and they remember the half bottle of Coke being there too. We were all really confused. I had them help me look in case I was missing something. We started to feel crazy, and I started to think they were pranking me. We were tearing apart our apartment because we couldn't understand. Not in the cabinets, garbage cans, nowhere. I started to spiral, and they assured me it's probably somewhere so random and you'll find it when we move out in May. To this day, we never found that bottle. They remember it and we are still very close friends. This was about 3 years ago, and I think about it constantly and have made them both swear up and down they never touched the bottle. This seems like a silly story. But it irks me to my core. I am convinced it was some kind of glitch. I'm not convinced that this one is a glitch. I'm not convinced. I think your instinct was right. I think that your flatmates, your roommates, I think they were pranking you. I think that they were pranking you. I think that one of them has guzzled the cola and hidden the bottle once you started to freak out about it. Yeah, that's my gut instinct. But that's a really, really cool story, and I do know the feeling of, you know, things disappearing, reappearing, but this didn't reappear, did it? That's the funny thing. Often with things going missing like this, they normally reappear, but this didn't. So yeah, I think one of your roommates has guzzled the cola, but that's all right. That's all right. What do you think? What do all the listeners think? Do you think it was one of the roommates, or do you think it was a glitch? Do you think, you know, somebody in a parallel universe has guzzled the cola? Let me know. Now, let's move on to our psychic portion of the show, and our first question is from N, and N asks, will I ever find a new partner? Shuffling away. I always feel really bad for this part because the the sound of the cards down the microphone sounds dreadful. It sounds absolutely dreadful. Let's give the cards a good shuffle. I do try and have, you know, things set up so that it doesn't pick up the cards so much, but it doesn't matter what I do. And I do shuffle the cards quite gently too. So let's see. Will N find a new partner? Yes. Yes, you will. You will, but I have to say, I have to ask rather, are you actually seeking a partner, N? Because I kind of get the feeling here, looking at this and, you know, what I'm picking up from you in general, is that you're quite content without one. It feels like you're quite content without one. There's quite a bit of independence around you, where you know it would be nice to see somebody regularly, but you don't necessarily want someone very, very close in your space at the moment. And it also looks like because of that, you're not really active in seeking. You know, I'm not seeing you on any apps. I'm not seeing you going to the disco or wherever the cool people go these days. I'm just kind of seeing you being very content and sort of thinking, it would be nice, as I say. With that said, I see somebody coming in early next year, kind of heading towards spring, but it's not like spring, it's kind of like that pre-spring, if that makes any sense. It's in pre-spring, which I think is something I've just made up. I do see somebody coming in that is some fire energy with this person, so a fire sign, probably a Leo, from what I'm seeing here. Probably a Leo. And you will enjoy this person. I see, you know, sporadic dates at first, and then you sort of think, why don't we have a sleepover and see how it goes for a few weeks with them, you know, physically closer? Because it's not that your heart's not open, it's that you don't want this. What I'm feeling is that you don't want people physically right in your space. But yep, to answer your question directly, big yes. Big yes. And we have another question here from A. Hello, A. Thank you for sending in your question. And A asks, I've had a falling out with the guy I'm dating from work. Will we make up? Does he still want to date? Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that, A. Let's have a shuffle and a look. Let's see. Will you make up? Does he still want to date? All of this will work out. All of this will work out. All of this will smooth over. Now, this episode will probably come out after it's all smoothed over, so I do apologise. But I see all this smoothing over, if it hasn't already, in the next couple of days. So you're not looking at a very long time for this to smooth, and it might even be already smoothed over as I'm speaking. It already feels like the connection is clearer, you know, no kind of annoyance between you. It feels like a very, very temporary blip, this falling out. It barely feels like a fallout. And if I'm going to be honest, it sounds like he's been a little bit childish and a little bit sulky. It feels like he took something too much to heart that you said or did, and telling me that he completely overreacted. So what's going to happen is, in the next couple of days, if it hasn't already, like I keep saying, he's going to come, he's going to knock on your door. He will want to speak outside of work. He's going to come and knock on your door and say, I'm sorry. Like, in a very quiet way, I'm sorry. And then everything will be fine. Still wants to date, still very much likes you, but kind of wanted to keep I don't want to say drama, but kind of wanted to keep any arguments or disagreements away from the workplace. So I hope that was of some use to you, A. Thank you to N and A for sending in your questions. And as I was saying at the top of the show, if you want to get in touch with a question to have a free reading here on the show, or get in touch with one of your personal spooky, paranormal, glitchy, Mandela effect stories, go to torjamesfaulkner.com, hit contact, fill in the form, it comes directly to me. There will be a button or a box or a link, depending on where you're watching the show. Whatever's easiest for you, but it comes directly to me anyway. I just punched the microphone because I'm a professional. I wave my hands around a lot while I'm speaking, and I'm always bashing the mic. I do apologise. Let's have our general angel card for the episode 2. This show has flown by. It's absolutely flown by. Let's have a general card. For all of us, as usual, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's a good word, that, isn't it? Resonates. Love that word. And our general angel card for the episode is understanding. Understanding. Now, I didn't touch on this earlier in the episode yet. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. I haven't spoken about this in this episode. But we are approaching a Mercury retrograde. And one of the negative points of that, one of the negative points of a Mercury retrograde, is that it does affect communication. And what this card is asking us to do is have a little more understanding with people at this time. So should you be hearing this as the episode goes out, have a little more understanding with people around this time, because it just feels like a general blanket feeling of people having miscommunications, things being misinterpreted, text messages and DMs going through in the wrong order. Isn't that always a pain in the foot when that happens? It's always a pain. It's a pain at the best of times. And the card is very, very blue. There's a lot of blue in the card, which is the colour of communication. So having blue things around us at this time will be helpful. You know, some blue crystals, some blue jewellery, blue clothing. Maybe change the wallpaper on your phone to be something blue, like a clear blue sky or something. Every little thing helps. I'm very big on colours because, you know, colours are frequency, energy is frequency. And, you know, the colours around us can and do help. So have a little more understanding with people at this time. And by purposely having a little more understanding, The alchemy card brings the message of telling us that we'll create better circumstances during this Mercury retrograde time. Thank you very much for joining me for episode 11 of season 2. It was a lovely show. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It flew by. It's absolutely whizzed past. I'll see you next time. Go power.
There's a notion that I can't ignore. There is more beyond the garden door. Is this life? Or timelines merging? On a distant moon beyond the camera, there's a soulmate who just hasn't met ya. Is this life? Just reaffirming. Who's to say what we cannot see? Am I you? Are you really me? Are we believing? Or just perceiving? It's a great big universe. We can't be who came here first.